all members across the House will agree that a good education gives young people, no matter what their background or where they live, the life chances to be the best that they can be. Education is an open door to opportunity. And this is something that I want for every child in Telford. The Minister, who isn't here, may be aware that in Telford all our academies have benefited from the highest level of BSF funding, and that every school is now newly built with impressive facilities that every student can be proud of. However, good education is more than investment in the best buildings and facilities. It's about good leadership. It's about high expectations. It's about giving students a sense of personal responsibility and self-worth. And it's about ensuring they feel cared for, valued, and enabling them to achieve their full potential. In my constituency, the education of 2,000 children was affected by the collapse of the Telford Co-operative Multi-Academy Trust last year. Following inspections by Ofsted, all of the 4 secondary schools within the trust were put into special measures, receiving inadequate ratings. All 4 Ofsted inspections made similar observations. There were widening gaps in the achievement of the most disadvantaged children. Culture of low expectations of achievement, behaviour and attendance. And specifically, Ofsted referred to, the Multi-Academy Trust had failed to take action to halt the decline in achievement and failed to provide effective support and challenge to the schools. The inadequate ratings were based on far more than merely exam results. The schools failed because of failings at the top and because of the leadership decisions taken by the Multi-Academy Trust. Ofsted was clear in every report that this was the case. And it is true that schools within the cluster had very poor GCSE results in consecutive years. Only 20% of the most disadvantaged children were achieving 5 good GCSEs, including English and Maths. All 4 schools within the trust fell below the 40% floor target, with 2 falling below 1/3, and in one school, almost 3/4 of children failed to achieve 5 good GCSEs in consecutive years. Now, in seeking to raise this issue, I speak as someone whose mother was a teacher in a comprehensive school, and I have been a governor in schools in areas of significant disadvantage. So I understand the challenges that teachers and governors will face. And I do pay tribute to those at the coalface who tried so hard in Telford in the circumstances which were, in hindsight, far too challenging. However, I also want to speak for the young people who have failed. And we can make no mistake about this. In schools where 80% of children in receipt of pupil premium are leaving school without getting 5 good GCSEs, we have to ask about their life chances. We have to talk about the impact this has had on their futures. Children's education, particularly the education of children from the least advantaged, least educated families, is an important duty of a local authority. In the case of the Telford Co-operative Multi-Academy Trust, the portfolio holder for children and young people was on the board of directors, as was the local authority Assistant Director of Education. In 2014, it became apparent that there were difficulties. Immediately, the local authority ceased its involvement, leaving behind well-intended, ill-equipped and inexperienced people to shoulder the burden of financial failings as well as educational shortcomings. A member responsible for children and young people claimed that the way Ofsted had conducted the inspections had triggered the problems. But in any event, as this was an academy chain, he said the local authority had no responsibility. And it appeared to many that what had happened was being brushed under the carpet. Portfolio member could have accepted that these children had been let down. He could have recognised the shortcomings and seen this as an opportunity to learn lessons for the future. But instead, he criticised those who wanted to find out what had gone wrong. He claimed they were guilty of playing party politics with our children's future. Yet in reality, everyone supported the schools whilst they were in special measures. Opposition councillors did not raise this issue publicly until students had finished their 2015 summer exams. And as the new MP for Telford, I have waited until now to raise the issue, because as the Minister may well know, a new sponsor has been found and things are starting to go well. Whenever something goes wrong, there are lessons to be learned, and unless we are prepared to speak out about it, nothing will change, and an opportunity to build a better future for our children will be lost. There are three clear lessons from the Telford Multi-Academy Trust story. 1. The crucial importance of strong leadership and governance. 2. High expectations of students and teachers. And 3. A willingness of a local authority to intervene quickly when things go wrong and accept a duty towards every child in the borough. In his response, I would like the Minister to confirm that a local authority does have a statutory duty for every child in the borough, academy or no academy, and that it must be right to ask whether this local authority fulfilled its statutory responsibilities in this case.
Would my honourable friend give way?
I should be delighted to give way.
Thank my honourable friend for giving way, and I commend her for securing this very important debate. There is nothing surely more important than the next generation and ensuring that they have the very best opportunities going forward. Education, good schooling is absolutely critical to that. And she does full justice also to the strain and the stress around Ofsted and around being in special measures, and what it means for a school and for the wider community. And I would say also her plea that the local authority has a duty of care in this. I would absolutely subscribe to that. I think we all have a very important part to play. She talks about school leadership, but I would commend her today for showing significant political leadership in bringing this to the light to better prosper the children in Telford.
I'd like to thank the Honourable Member for her excellent intervention and very sensible words. I know how experienced she is in this field, and I am very grateful to her. I believe those asking questions on behalf of the children who lost out are right to do so, and I believe their questions deserve answers. I should be grateful if the Minister would confirm that if things are not working, if leadership and government are struggling, a local authority should be proactive and should get help from the DFE and regional school commissioners. And would he encourage a local authority to intervene early and not to tolerate an inadequate education for any of our children, and particularly the most disadvantaged? The Minister will be pleased to know that there is also very good news in Telford. We already have two fantastic academies, Madeley Academy and Abraham Darby Academy, and these schools give their students a good and rounded education. They too serve areas with a similar demographic to those within the Telford Multi-Academy Trust. These schools show that no matter where you live, no matter what your background is, you can have a good education. Now, the Telford Multi-Academy Trust was dissolved, the DFE got involved, and a new sponsor was found. And the sponsor formally took over in November 2015. And it's early days, but the signs are encouraging. The new academy chain has ensured full staff restructure with shared leadership across all schools, new timetables, day structures, new approaches to behaviour, teaching and leadership and governance. All these processes have now successfully been put in place. An early DFE monitoring visits saw examples of excellent practice being identified, and there were two successful Ofsted monitoring visits where the positive impact of the new trust and the work of the school-based leaders was recognised. The Chief Executive told me earlier this week, we are still in the early days of school improvement and there is still so much to do, but the young people in the schools are getting a better deal. And I quote from the recent Ofsted visits, "The new trust has played a crucial role in removing barriers to the Academy's progress and putting in place a clear strategy for the Academy's improvement. The structures, mechanisms and foundations are now in place to secure sustainable improvement." I offer my full support to the new trust chain, the leaders, the teachers and the students as they all move forward on this exciting journey, and I know the Minister will join me in that support. I conclude by saying to the Minister that if this government's education policies are working, these Telford schools will be a benchmark of that success. If in 4 years' time, given the right leadership and the high expectations these schools have been turned around, if children from the least advantaged areas in Telford have the same life chances as others, then that will show that this government has got its education policy absolutely right. As Telford's MP, I will pay close attention to the progress of these schools and the progress of the students. I will continue to raise their progress with the DFE and with the Minister. As we look to the future, we should not discard the lessons of the past or avoid an understanding of what went wrong. And we should all hold on to the belief that young people, no matter where they live, no matter what their background, deserve the life chances that a good education provides and an open door to opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. May I first apologise to you, Sir Edward, and to my honourable friend for being a few minutes late to the start of this debate. Never has the journey on foot from the Department for Education to Westminster Hall been as swift as the one that I have just undergone in order to hear my honourable friend's speech and to be able to respond to it. And can I congratulate her on securing this debate and pay tribute to her for her work on this and other education issues, and particularly for her work on children in care. She made a very powerful speech on this issue of children in care in early January. And today she's made another powerful and compelling speech about education in her own constituency. And I share my honourable friend, the member for Eastbourne's view that she is showing significant political leadership in taking up these issues in Westminster Hall today. And she is right to celebrate, Sir Edward, the achievements of the Communities Academies Trust in improving schools in her area. The Communities Academies Trust is a fine example of the success of the Academies programme, which is raising academic standards by giving head teachers greater freedom and also greater responsibility. Since May, before 2010, there were just 203 academies, but the Academies Act 2010 opened the programme to every school in the country so that the benefits of academy status were available to any school. Head teachers have seized this opportunity to raise standards. There are now over 5,000 open academies, and 65% of all secondary schools are now academies or free schools. In 2015, secondary converter academies outperformed national average attainment at GCSE by 7.2 percentage points, with 64.3% of pupils achieving 5 or more GCSEs at grades A star to C, including English and Maths. And I'm pleased that there are already 10 open academies in Telford and Wrekin, and I know that my honourable friend is encouraging more schools in her constituency to consider the advantages which academy status brings. And despite the overall success of the programme, the performance of some academies falls short of our expectation. And where this is the case, we do not hesitate to intervene swiftly so that the necessary improvements are concerned. And that's the key answer to her question that she raised in her speech about intervention. It has to be swift, and it is swift, thanks to the Academy's programme. Now, my honourable friend raised particular concerns about the performance of the Telford Co-operative Multi-Academy Trust, which was joined by 4 academies in Telford in April and June 2013, Lakeside, Phoenix, Sutherland and Rocardine. At the time of conversion, the schools were performing well. And in February 2015, however, all 4 schools were judged inadequate by Ofsted, and serious financial issues were uncovered by the Education Funding Agency. Standards at the all the schools, had dropped significantly, as she cited in her speech, and fewer than 40% of pupils were leaving those schools with good Key Stage 4 results. And whilst technically part of the trust, the 4 schools effectively operated in isolation, losing the benefits of closer collaboration and support for each other. The poor performance of these schools was unacceptable. The department therefore intervened and secured the trust's agreement for a new sponsor, which was the Community Academies Trust, with a proven track record of school improvement. Now, CAT was originally formed by 2 outstanding schools, Polesworth Secondary School and Birchwood Primary School in 2012, in all the schools within the Trust, there has been significant improvement. And the two founding schools of that Trust continue to be judged outstanding by Ofsted. At Polesworth Secondary School, 64% of pupils achieved 5A to C, including English and Maths, and 38% of pupils at that school achieved the EBAC combination of GCSEs in the summer of 2015. And 80% of Birchwood Primary School pupils achieved at least a level 4 in reading, writing and maths. The Community Academies Trust took responsibility for the 4 TC Maths schools in November 2015, and I'm pleased to confirm what my honourable friend has said, that recent Ofsted monitoring visits in December and January have noted significant improvements. Ofsted inspectors commented positively on the school's leadership and governance and praised the support being provided by the Community Academies Trust. And specifically, Ofsted has said, and I quote, that new leaders have acted with drive and determination to alter the culture and ethos of the Academy. The clear strategic vision and ambition of the Executive Head of School and Community Academies Trust, supported by an able team of Deputy Head Teachers, is now beginning to have an impact on standards. The quality of teaching, pupils' attendance and behaviour are improving, and this is starting to raise the achievement of some pupils. Now, the signs are, it says, that pupil numbers will be up to sustainable levels within 4 years. Now, this approach, recognising and quickly addressing underperformance, is fundamental to the Academy's programme. And to date, we've issued 134 formal notices to underperforming academies, and we've ensured a change of sponsor in 123 cases of particular concern. The Education and Adoption Bill will strengthen the Department's powers to ensure that every failing or coasting school, whether maintained or an academy, receives the support they need to improve. So I'm grateful to my honourable friend for raising these issues today, and I congratulate the Community Academies Trust on the progress it has already made, and I wish the schools in her constituency every success as they continue to improve.
The question is, the House has considered Telford Co-operative Multi-Academy Trust schools. As many of that have been, say aye. The contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Order, order.